next section of the Module 1 review is again on 1.4 and 1.5, but this time it's about writing and solving equations. So this is where you have a word problem and you need to write an equation first and then solve it. This first example, so this is up here is what the process that we use to do this, just to remind you to do it step by step. You choose a letter to represent the variable quantity, translate the problem into an equation, solve the equation, showing your work, check the solution, and write the answer in a sentence. So we'll do each one of these step by step. So this first one says April was paid $74 for her work shift on Saturday, but with tips she earned $90 altogether. How much did she earn in tips Saturday? So our first step here is choose a letter to represent the variable quantity. And typically, not always, but a lot of times we can look at the problem and see what it is we're looking for, and that'll be our variable. So how much did she earn in tips Saturday is what we're looking for. So we're going to say T equals tips she earned Saturday. So then our next thing is to translate the problem into an equation. Of course, this is the hard part, and like I said in a previous video, this is the place where you want to be patient with yourself. You want to practice it a lot, ask other people how they do it, ask me about it, ask when you're getting help in the Learning Center. This is a skill you gradually get over time. So in this situation, what I do is just look at it and try to see if I can understand the general situation and then see how the numbers relate to each other, because that's what an equation is relating a bunch of numbers together. So this says April was paid $74 for her work shift, but with tips she earned $90 altogether. So we really have three numbers here. We have 74, how much she earned in tips, and 90. And the way those relate is the 74 she got for wages plus her tips gives her overall earnings. And so the way I write that as an equation is 74 plus T equals 90. And remember, it's fine. I could have also written it T plus 74 equals 90. Now it says solve the equation showing the process. So we had T plus 74 equals 90. Didn't leave myself much room here, but we're going to do a quick done, undo. So what's being done is we're adding 74, so that means we're going to subtract 74 from both sides of the equation to solve it. I know a lot of you don't need to do that step, especially with one-step equations, but I want to show it to you to remind you that it's a good idea if you're having any trouble with these at all. So we end up with T equals 16. Write the answer in a sentence. So we're not going to check this one, but you know how you would check it. Remember, you check it in two different ways. You plug the 16 back in for the T and see if it makes a true equation, which it does in this case. And then also you sort of check to see if that's an answer that makes sense. Okay, so our sentence is, she made, I've already forgotten what it was, she made $16 in tips Saturday. It's a different problem that says Jeff's cell phone plan requires that he pay $49 a month for a fixed number of minutes and then 55 cents for each minute over his plan amount. 1 month his cell phone bill was $67.37. How many minutes did Jeff go over what was allowed under his plan? Again, there's no simple way to do this, but you picture, especially if you have a cell phone plan like this, it's easy to picture, but you think about what's happening here. He's paying a $49 amount for a fixed number of minutes, and then if he goes over that, he's paying 55 cents for each minute over. And then those put together give us the total cell phone bill. So when we're working out the equation, we have to think about how those numbers relate. But the first thing we have to do is just choose a letter to represent the variable. And this says how many minutes did he go over his plan. So we're going to say M equals minutes Jeff went over. So that's our variable. Then we're going to translate the problem into an equation. Well, he pays his $49, and then he pays 55 cents times each minute. So for each minute I pay 55 cents. And then for the month that we're talking about, all that added together gave us $67.37. That's our equation. Well, let's go ahead and solve it here so we don't have to rewrite it. So we'll do a quick done, undo. So what's happening to my variable is first it's being multiplied by 0.55, and then we're adding 49. So that means to undo it, we're going to subtract 49 and divide by 0.55. So my directions here are telling me now to subtract 49 from both sides. So I get 0.55 M equals 1837. Now my directions tell me to divide both sides by 0.55. So M equals 33.4, which is 33.40. I did that on my calculator, I didn't do it in my head. So we have to think about what that means. So we said M was the minutes that he went over. So that means he probably went 34 minutes over. Maybe his cell phone provider clocks things in less than full minutes, so we'll just go ahead and leave it as 33.4 minutes. So we did the solving. I'm going to be lazy and not check the solution, but you should not do that same thing on the test. So remember, we want you to check the solution and make sure you got it right. So it says write the answer in a sentence. Jeff went 33.4